Hello everybody, I am Audrey. This is another episode of Reset TV Talk. I'm super stoked to be sitting down with
Michael Schiffer.
Somebody who has changed the community through his services towards those who are resettling, those who are coming through Mangere. You began as a translator, and then you slowly became more and more, got your hands in the dirt. And so we're going to open up and unpack that. But I want to kick it off and really allow people to get to know your heart a little bit. So you were born in Ethiopia, you flee to Kenya, and you work there in the humanitarian science world for 5 to 6 years. You end up in Mombasa, which is crazy. And then you finally come to New Zealand. And so I really want to break down this idea of always traveling. And for you, what is one thing that you've noticed of people who have gone around a little bit and then come to New Zealand and their lifestyle? And would you say there's any difference between people who just come and flee from their country and come straight to New Zealand?
Yes, of course. Because in my family, me and my sister came as a refugee. So the rest of the family, I have extended family here, other sisters. I sponsored them from home country. So that's different. When they come and join us, they are much happier than I myself.
Those who travel. You didn't like Kenya? Kenya is where I was born. You better speak nicely about it.
No, I don't mean that in Kenya. I love Kenya. And definitely Kenya is my second home, I think. And the refugee life is different, but the country is different, you know.
Okay.
The refugee life was horrible. Not for me, but
for those
around me, yeah.
Yeah.
Waiting for ration, the food to be delivered every month. And the number of things they give you is 3 things: wheat flour, and beans, and oil. No sugar, no salt.
No milk.
No milk, no meat.
Wow.
So New Zealand is very different, you know?
Of course.
When you go to the shop, when you see
it's a whole new world.
That's a very different world, you know.
Yeah, of course.
So if you are working up and down, you can eat in hotels. But I used to work, as I said, as you mentioned it, I used to work with Africa Medical Research Foundation in hospitals and helping for refugees and do something. That's my passion, I think. I love it.
Yeah, it's carried over with you.
Yes. I love it. I love helping people.
Yeah.
So New Zealand is very different with most of the things. The weather, the lifestyle, the language. So it's very different.
And for you, when you first came over to New Zealand, what did you find the integration process like? Because I think I haven't particularly experienced it to the gravity that my mum and my dad did. But I think what I did experience was more about this identity thing, where it was like, I'm too Burundian for New Zealand, but then like I'm too Kiwi for my friends in Burundi. Like they would make fun of my the way I would say things in Kurundi over the phone, and they would say, Oje, yo muzungu. You know, they would make fun of me. And then I'm like, but then all the kids are joking about my food in my lunchbox at school, you know, and that I say comme ci, comme ça, fatigué, all these different words that they don't really know because it's normal at home. And so you coming over a little bit older, what was the integration process like for you?
Well, this is a good question because in 4 days I will be, I think, 24 years.
In New Zealand?
In New Zealand, yeah. Wow. I came in 24 or 25 years now.
Okay, yeah.
I came 1998, September 9. 9/11 is a horrible day, you know, and also that Ethiopia New Year. And I remember I called to my dad that day to say Happy New Year, because for your information, Ethiopia has different calendar from the other world. Our calendar is Orthodox calendar.
Okay.
And our New Year is September.
Got it.
Christmas is January. Easter is different, with mostly. And that day was a New Year. I called to my dad, and my dad was not happy because he was scared that I'm going to take his children away from him. But it happened. When it happened, he was not, he passed. And a New Year in a refugee camp in new country, in Mangri Settlement Center, and it was very different, very different. And the weather that time was
shocking.
Yeah, well, every day is raining, windy.
Yeah, and all the clothes you brought up for like 28 degrees, 29 degrees.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Walking around in singlets. Oh, I remember. I remember.
They wake you up early morning.
Yeah, 7 a.m.
Oh, 7 is good. 6, they come and they knock. That's when you are start sleeping, because African nighttime is that time.
Yes, yes.
The whole night you sit, and then when you start sleeping, they come and they knock.
Get up, let's go.
Get up, let's go, breakfast, and then
English class,
blah, blah.
Yeah.
Then that one was different.
Of course.
In fact, inside you, after the 5 weeks, you are hoping the outside life much different or much better. That was the hope you have it in your heart, and it was good. I like that atmosphere, because, you know, when we come from Kenya, me and my sister, and Mr. Batu, maybe you met him, an old man, and his wife, the rest, about 92 of the group, all are Ethiopians, most, and I think Sudanese also. Few Somalis. One intake, we were about 200 plus family. So out of that, me and my sister only we used to spend in the camp, because the other, they came from Sudan. They have a family here. And we don't have a family here. I can't leave my sister. We spent a couple of weeks in the compound with the Sudanese groups. Most of them, they went to Wellington, but we were dancing at nighttime, singing, and preparing for our graduation from to come out. It was interesting,
Of course. I've definitely found that, because I belong to such a plethora of cultural groups, you know, going to a public high school, you know, and then also having friends in different backgrounds. That there is a different kind of joy that I've seen through the lens of my mother and her friends, and there's a different kind of like way of celebrating. I went to a Burundian wedding, and I was like, oh my days, this is incredible. It's loud, it's vivacious, it's loving. Everything is celebratory, and it's not just celebration in the way that I've seen it, but like you feel like if you died tomorrow, this is as good as it gets, you know, and you're around people who have loved you or who have taken care of you or you've never met before, but you have this understanding and you have this connecting point because you know what it's like, you know, and you know what it's, you know what it takes to actually migrate. You know what it takes to do 5 weeks, do 6 weeks and adjust in every level. You don't just adjust in time difference. You don't just adjust in language. You adjust in habits. You adjust to the way of life. You adjust to the way the buildings look, you know, and how different it is to back home. So if you were to look at yourself 24 to 25 years ago, touching down in New Zealand September 9th, what's the one piece of advice that you would tell yourself? Hey, if you can remember anything, remember this.
When we arrived in airport, they took us to the back door. Okay, others are coming to the front side, But we were in a group, and they take us to the back door. Bus was waiting for us, and then it was nighttime. When the bus is driving to Mangri, when I see it's dark, it's not like New Zealand was very country that time. Mangri area, you can see sheep and cows and everything, you know. So I was scared. Am I going back to Africa or it is a
trap?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then they took us there. When we go, it is a camping. You know it. It's 4 beds in one room, and I said, "What is it? Is it a campus again?" You know, until it's morning and I see the sun. I was frustrated. You know, what's this? Why we are here? No one was explaining to us. You know, while we were in Africa, they didn't tell us you're gonna have a training for 6 weeks. Where? Staying in house or?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Then most expectation was the big thing, to walk on the glass, not on the tarmac road. You know, we were expecting different land from Africa, because people from refugees from different countries like United States or Australia or Canada, they sent a picture of you know, driving a very expensive car and or living in a big palace or something like that. Not that time was not like that in camp. And then next day, they on orientation time, they explained to us how long we're gonna stay here, and then milk is everywhere. You know, you can drink milk as much as you like. You can eat as much as you want, but the food also was different for many of us, because Ethiopians, we love spicy food, and in Mangri, no spice. Then the people, they start bringing chili from outside on. Every weekend, they come out to visit your families. When they come back, they come with chili. Then we start adding and eating, but not bad, but was different.
So what's the piece of advice you'd give to yourself, looking back to that person?
Look, I always, one thing I do in my life, to be happy. I remember that day, for example, today, I close my eyes and I start thinking what I achieved.
Right, yeah.
It makes me happy. I don't give a time for myself to get worried about tomorrow. And the same thing I did. What did I achieve? Okay, it's much better, peaceful country. You know, and I'm going to have a life, definitely.
Yeah.
Different life, then I have to be ready. The achievement is leaving my home continent, Africa, behind. I was thinking that I'm achieving, because first thing is peace of mind. I was not in peaceful living kind of life, you know. Africa always have a problem. The Rwandese massacre was that time when I left, and Nairobi was under terrorist action. Different worry things were existing, you know, and then we all refugees talking about our country's problems.
Yeah.
So we were not living a life.
Yeah, you were still looking back and tracking that time. Yeah. I think that's definitely one thing that not just refugees, but anyone who has, in whatever regards, managed to make it out of a very traumatic situation. It's not to, you have to genuinely train yourself to not continue living those moments and rewatching and re-experiencing, which is something that I do want to get into part 2. So we're going to take a break, and we'll see you guys in the next section. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to part 2, where we focus on the aftermath. And so you've gone through this center. You've found yourself leaving after 6 weeks. And I want to talk about the end of the stick where a lot of people feel, once again, this sense of relief, where it's like, yes, okay, the 6 weeks are up. Hopefully when I get into my new spot and I feel more integrated, I get to live and begin my new life. Hopefully things will get better, But that's not the case. And we both know this because we've both experienced it. And so I really want to talk about this whole idea of integrating into a community, and one that you still kind of have no knowledge of, because getting a driver's license, getting a bank account, they're incredible steps that almost operate on this micro level, on the smaller, lower level. And what's kind of happening around us is a society that is forever changing so fast. What is cool? What is normal? What is acceptable? What is cultural? What are your values? It's coming. And so what are some things, either from your position as somebody who has experienced it, or somebody who has catered to people, who have helped people integrate and move from this Mangere Center program into their real life, some struggles, some difficulties, some things you've watched people really, really have a hard time with?
Okay, when you leave, before you leave Mangere, one of the organizations doing the most of the things to be done for the refugees is Refugee and Migrant Service, RMS.
Okay.
RMS was very strong, very good organization, exceptional. They are calling people to come in to be a support person. Not a sponsor, but support workers, New Zealanders. When they come to your life, they do it to the end. They're like spotlight.
Yeah.
They show you where to go. They show you the bus. And RMS is working with working income to get money, take you to the bank to get an account. And also, they negotiate with Housing New Zealand. That time, Housing New Zealand was, getting a house was not a big thing. They used to settle people in one area. For example, in North Shore, the Burundians.
All of them.
All of them there. So the Ethiopians around Mount Albert, Avondale. So people, they meet every day each other.
Familiar.
Family, kind of building a relationship, building family thing. So it was not a big thing. One of the issue was while I was working, we opened for them an account, but they don't know how to use the card.
Okay.
And then we show them a couple of times, 3 times, and the next payday, when they go, the machine will take the card. And they don't, the big thing in my community, especially, even in Burundians, language barrier.
Yeah.
You speak they speak French,
Swahili,
but no English. So that was one of the reasons they can't walk in the bank and tell what happened.
Yeah.
Then they tell you, oh, the bank stolen my card. You know, they think that somebody's taking it out there, but they make a mistake and the machine will take it.
Yeah.
They have to bring it back. That was one of the issue. The other is schooling for the children.
Yeah.
Still, the RMS and AUT working together to get bilingual teachers that time. They were giving a training for bilingual teachers, and so our children, they were facing gradually, okay, not immediately, but gradually, they start facing from their friends some of teasing thing. For example, oh, you smell spicy. So the kid thinks that's a good word, but it was not. But because the mother, you know, for example, the Ethiopian traditional food is not compatible to New Zealand houses.
Yeah.
Because no ventilation, enough ventilation to bring out that spices smell. Then the children's clothes is full of spices, and when they go to school, they got that kind of comments from their own friends.
And it's kind of hard when it comes to children because there's this level of innocence where they don't actually acknowledge that this could be insulting.
No.
But then the other end of that stick is the person receiving the insult feels super ostracized, you know, and it's kind of like alienated. For me, it was always my hair because my hair was always changing.
Yes.
I had extensions 1 week and then I had an afro and then my mom would relax my hair and my mom would braid my hair and it was always this thing of like, you always look different. Like, why don't you just have one style, you know? Whereas you don't really have the language
to explain
that my hair can't survive in this weather, that I need to protect it, that it's actually just part of what we do, it's part of who we are. But then you also don't realize how small. It makes you feel like you want to get rid of everything that looks, sounds, smells like Burundi because you just get bullied for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think, that...
You said that word. I was trying to not to say it. Most of the refugee kids were bullied.
Of course they were, yeah.
Yeah, and no one is going to find out. I have one client, 15 years old, young man. He was locked himself for 3 years in his bedroom. I went that house but the house was moldy and very cold, and the mother was complaining, and I went to support her to get a house for her, to change it. She used to live in private sector. When I go there, when I start walking room to room, I found him, he's sleeping there. And I asked her, what's going on? She just told me 3 years he was not coming out from his bedroom.
3 years?
3 years. He developed immediate social phobia.
Wow.
Nobody knows what happened to him. I started digging, and he had one support person from an organization around here. He's going only once in a week. He took him out, take him to the bank, walk with him, he dropped him. That's it. Even he was not keen to see his sisters most of the time. Mom put the food in the kitchen, and then he checked, no one there. He picked it, he go, and he ate, he sleep. And he used the toilet 3 years. The mental health group, they visited him at time beginning time, then no one was followed him. The mom, she went to the pharmacy and collect his medicine.
Wow.
He's taking the medication and he's sleeping, that's it.
And so 3 years as in from 15 to 18?
18. When I met him, he was 18.
The developmental...
He was growing. He's big. He was big.
His brain.
No. And then I started going every day to see him.
Slowly interacting with him.
Yeah. Then he got a little bit trust on me. But I fight to get the house first. And I moved them from this area to the area where they used to live to different area. Because the pressure comes not only from the depression, even from his mom. Because traditionally, she was hiding him, not to be seen by other people. Not to talk about, not to be a topic in her own community.
Like gossiping.
Yes.
Yeah.
She hid him in a room. She's working and come back and meet him and blah, blah. But nobody, even next door neighbors, only one lady knows about him. The other people, they don't know it. This is one of the traditional, our problems of mental health in our society.
Is huge.
Huge.
Huge levels of PTSD,
Yes, yeah.
social anxiety. And it's really, really complicated. It's funny you bring it up. I was researching it for something else that we're doing, the relationship between mental health and refugees. And it was this thesis by Andre. And he was talking about, he made all of these claims And then he said the saddest thing is that there are no counselors who can actually cater to this. Because it's different when you come with PTSD from a trauma of war or postpartum depression from having a child. And he was talking about those who have PTSD from living. There was one man he interviewed who lived in like a cell, and that's all he saw for like 5 years. And like he spoke about the way even if the wind picked up or if someone walked in the room or like seeing the sun, all these different levels, it's like an extreme level of PTSD that counselors and therapists and psychologists have not actually been equipped for. And so he makes a question, what do we do with the refugee? Because we can't put them into society when they're sick and they need attention. They need emotional support. They need a countenance. But then when we give them to the services, they don't know what to do with them. They don't know how to cater to a trauma from fleeing a country. You know, they don't know how to cater to a trauma for people who have literally been stripped out of their mother's arms and haven't seen their family since. How do we cater to people like that? You know, and so I think mental health and refugees, man, it's something that needs to be acknowledged as going hand in hand, because how can you possibly go through what half of these people go through and not have it? You know, it's crazy to think about.
Look, the other side, families themselves, when they see especially when the children, their kids, they start drinking, smoking or something, they think that these kids are, in the wrong track or rebellion. No, it is part of mental health.
Coping mechanisms.
Yeah. Then the family not trusting them, not believing them they have a mental health issue, or not understanding it. As you know, mental health patients, they are declining, denying, And family, they said, oh, my boy is in wrong track. The police, when they caught them, they put them as the criminal. They are not recognizing it. Yeah. Even in a court, the forensic nurses, they have never tried to find out the cultural background. The way you have been raised is probably open, but my home countries, my society, is not open society. Everything is secret. They don't want to tell to their families even. They didn't tell, oh, my son is having a mental health issue to her brother. But then they said, oh, keep quiet, don't tell, don't say.
Do you think they have the words for that? Do you think it's in their vocabulary, depression, anxiety? Social anxiety.
No.
It's not.
No.
I agree.
No.
Yeah.
When someone is having mental health problems, they took him to the holy water in the church and praying and witchcraft and something like that.
Yeah.
We don't have a culture of taking our children, the patient, to the counselors, psychiatrists or therapists.
Or just a friend. It doesn't always have to be someone who's studying.
Yeah, so this one is the outside Mangri.
Wow.
It starts, sometimes immediately.
Yes. Sometimes it takes a while.
Yeah, and you look, the grave depression, a lot of antenatal depression. Everything is not known there,
Yeah.
Because if you are, for example, if your dad and if you argue with your mom, when you come out, you'll meet a friend. An African friend makes you laughing. Oh, what happened to you? Oh, is that, forget about it, let's play. You start playing and you finish the day and you come back again for another arguing with your family because you didn't do the job you have been given to do. But you forget it. Always we forget and continue in Africa. We don't keep it ourselves. Here, no one is sharing you. No one... I didn't see most people, they don't want to share the stress of others. They have their own stress. One of the counselors, he just told me that to ask my other client, in prison, if one day you wake up and all your problems have been solved, what do you think? It's a matter of a little thing, but it takes you forever. So the outside of Mangri, we face a problem with our children.
Yeah.
Because we don't understand what's bully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Parents, we don't understand our kids.
Yeah. What's anxiety?
Yeah, what's anxiety? And the husband and wife, they get separation within 6 months, within a year time, the breakdown is followed them. Because stress.
Yeah.
And no one is understanding it.
Yeah.
And parents and children, they're fighting in the house. No one is understanding it.
Yeah.
And the kids also, they don't understand you. And you guys, you don't understand us. What did I miss?
Yeah. Why
well, my kids have never tried to dig out who I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what did I lose? Do I have a friend? Why my dad is not having a friend? You know?
Yeah.
Look, for example, for Ethiopians, we have a common topic. The common topic is politics.
Okay. Coffee.
On the men. The coffee is for women mostly. Ladies, they gather together. That's a good thing. Especially back home. I don't know now here, but even my mother, she have a coffee with neighborhood, and then they talk about the family. When your mom is telling, oh, my daughter is doing this, my daughter was like that, but when I do this, she stopped it, kind of. Yeah. It's a part of counseling.
Yeah.
They counsel each other. That's why they don't go to see a counselor or something. They not only supporting, they share the problems. My husband is when he's doing this, he's doing, my husband also was like that. But if you do this way, for example, don't ask him money when he comes from work. Don't ask him money when he goes to work. You better ask money when you go to finish everything and going to bedroom. That time his mind is settled. Relax. He will listen to you. Otherwise, when he's wake up and go to work, he will be mad. When he comes with the stress. That's a kind of stress management. Other problems are we don't know who I am.
Identity crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cultural clashes.
Yeah.
Identity confusion in our children.
Yeah.
Inside is European, outside is black. Their friends have a basket for you. They don't expect you to finish school. And then the other groups, they are expecting you to drop out from school with them.
And others want to go be basketballers.
Yes.
And others, yeah. And I think what's really interesting is it's universal. Like when you were talking about your children don't understand your parents, for me, I definitely went through that. But it's because you don't, the distinction between your parents and them being superhumans, it's only around 18, 19 that I started. When my mother went from being a superwoman who was excelling at everything, who was passionate and driven and diligent. My father is intelligent and beautifully minded. When I began to understand that they were just human and that they were people with exceptional stories, exceptional backgrounds, that was when I began to not just see them as their one responsibility, which was parent, but they were sisters. They were a sister and a brother. They were daughters and they were sons. They were friends and they had best friends and they had passions and they had drive, they had hobbies. And I think that day, the reason why a lot of children of refugees or forced migrants negate it is it's one of the most groundbreaking days. It's very heavy and it hurts. It hurts to know that your mum and dad wanted to do something and didn't plan to be in New Zealand, and they wanted to be actors, engineers, they wanted to be professionals, and they could not be it because someone high up made a mistake and now they're fleeing. It hurts. It hurts to know that the way you behave breaks their heart, and it hurts to know that you lived so arrogantly for so long. I thought about myself, because I did the same thing. I partied, I went out, I traveled, and it was all about me. And then the day I learned that my mom was also 18 and that she also had a crush on a boy, and she also wanted to graduate, and that she wanted to learn how to drive and finally leave home, that was the hardest day of my life, because every year that I spent being an idiot, I can never take her back. And I can never finally offer her the honor and the respect that she deserved throughout my teenage years, you know? And so I think it's both parties living very difficultly, you know, and trying their best to come and meet in the middle. And so we're going to go to part 3, which we're going to focus on solutions and ways in which you've seen different, like, positive success stories come about, different things that you've implemented in your own life. Because I think it's just as important to break down what's hurting our community and apply what is healing our community and what can be used to restore as well. So we'll see you guys in part 3. Welcome to part 3, problem solving and solution finding. So we have unpacked about all the different hardships, and from somebody, again, who has been through it and is helping people through it. What are the top 2 things that you would say are the best solutions to the problems that you're seeing and coming in contact with?
Okay, so solution always comes from the community. Community organizations like ARCC, they're doing a great job, but not enough. They have 22 communities in our organization, ARCC. Those 22 community leaders, they have to be committed to save their society, their community members, because for example, people suffering with housing problems, health problems, they need not only interpreters, they need a support person, always going and support them to bring out from depression and stress. Our children, they need a support. We have to understand them. I have to go to my kids, not kids to come. I expect my children to be me. I have to be them. Whatever they do, without hiding it, to do it. One of the medication is not hiding, you know, whatever you do.
Being
honest and open, yes.
Yeah.
For that, parents, they should make themselves ready to accept
The horrors.
the horrors.
Yeah.
Love is unconditional. That cultural condition should stop. Now we are in New Zealand. They are, for example, you are a Burundi, but you are Kiwi, you are a pure New Zealander. You live in open world outside, and then when you come to home, there is a rule under that house to be a Burundi. That's wrong expectation. I'm expecting my children to be pure Ethiopian. No way. I have to give them a time to understand it.
Be patient.
Yes. And as you said before, your mom was 18, 20. Same thing she has to know. She has to remember what she did.
What was it like?
Yeah, her time when she was 18. What did I do when I was 24? What is it my son is doing now? Was it wrong or different? We have to understand each other. Otherwise, it needs commitment from all of both sides, but more is expected from parents to have their children. In Ethiopian way, my dad, he used to own me. Okay? Our families, they spend their money on us. They send us to school. And like it is a retirement center. When they get retired, I have to be beside of him. Now, I'm not expecting from my children to be beside of me because they are in different world. Me world. So they are thinking, the children are always, they're thinking for themselves. I have to show them the good way of what I'm thinking. If they accept it, okay. If they don't accept it, they have to live up with their right. Parents, they should give a chance to their children to grow up, not blocking them. That was one of my problems, or our problems, that we think that we know, but we don't know. Because if we know, I have to understand my kids, what they're thinking. But direct them to the good way, and then they will achieve. That's when you will be happy. And be patient. Even they push you, the parents, you guys, you are pushing us away from you. We have to accept it and follow you the way you are going and bring you back to the right line, the right track. I think that's one of the solutions. And then if the communities are strong enough, they can challenge the government organizations, their community members to be treated equally according to the law. They have to get their right. They have to know their obligations, yes, but also they have to get the right thing from the government. For example, in the COVID time, everybody was kind. We need to keep it, that kindness.
Yeah.
And instead of using it once and stop. No. Forgetting about it. No, we have to be kind always.
Yeah, a culture of kindness.
Yes, yeah. And helping people. If you give 1 hour for a poor old lady, you will get another 2 hours from your mind, from your God, or from your conscience, because you get happiness. Happiness is increasing your living time of this world. But if you ignore me, that I'm suffering, and then you will get with the guilt, your life is short.
Yeah. So, I think it all just ends and starts with both parties, whoever the parties are, being okay with just sitting at the table, and actually communing. And in the last episode, our guest spoke about communing over coffee, and how, because of how long it takes to make the coffee in Ethiopia, people often end up talking about anything and everything. And I think what I loved about that was how simple it was,
Yes.
Like, no suits, no lights, no camera.
No.
Just, okay, this is what you think, this is what I think. And I think if people began to listen with the intent to learn, digest, understand, and not respond, it's so different. When you listen and not to win the argument, immediately the tonality that you use is different. The way you speak to that person is different. The way you go about the conversation when you're not trying to win is already different, And I think so for me, from a child, teenager, young adult, whatever perspective, it would be boldness. It would be boldness to be vulnerable in front of your parents and tell them, I am really struggling with the fact that no one else in my high school looks like me. And you're saying I'm beautiful, but media is saying that this is the exact opposite of what you should look like. You're saying that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and that you love my hair and you love my nose, but then there's no makeup complexions for people like me. Everything is expensive for people like me, and there is not a single other person it felt like some days, I think it's a meeting ground of, like, parents need to be open, but like kids need to be vulnerable. And they need to be honest. Maybe if you're not comfortable with your parent, it can be with people around you. And then if that's happening on a micro level, then on a macro level, you're seeing overall unity. you know, because the families are stronger, so the communities are stronger, and then the society is stronger, you know. But I've loved speaking to you today, and I really appreciate and honor you for coming and opening up your mind and letting us know what you think and how you feel. So this is the end, Michael, of our episode.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here today.
I'm glad.
And I'm happy to see you, 20 years old.
Wow, crazy times.
Young girl, young lady, sorry. Young lady. Young lady speaking all openly and working together to get a solution for our problems. Yes, we need to wake up one day. Our problems are solved.
Yeah.
And I want to pass one message to all communities, because we all immigrants coming from different countries. Let's be immigrant with our body and mind. Let's try not too much thinking about 27 or 28,000 miles away country politics. That one, it doesn't help for our children. It doesn't help to build a new community. Whether we like it or not, our children, it's very slim chance to go back and live in my home country. Very slim chance. So they are living here. We have to prepare them to live and to survive, to lead their life in New Zealand, in Australia, or wherever, in a good life. We pull them, and we are still there. We need them to be there always. No way. Please, let's change our belief. Thank you.
This has been another episode of Reset TV Talk. If you've listened for this long, hey, thank you. We appreciate you. Go ahead and let us know what you think in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.